thank you so much for joining us here at the 10th edition of the Forbes Women Africa Leading Women Summit. I want to zero in yourself, one, gracing us today with your presence at the event and your role within heading Tempo Africa. Just tell us a little bit more about that.
Looking at Tempo Africa and the idea of Tempo Africa came because of my love for Africa. I want to see Africa taking back what is theirs, you know. So the aim of Tempo Africa is to digitalize tourism and to ensure that whoever wants to come to Africa, they use Tempo Africa. That is the Top Africa product. So when I talk about tourism, I talk about a lot. Hotels, the safaris, and so much more that is available in Africa. So if someone wants to come to Africa and let's say they want to come to South Africa, they just go to Tempo Africa and search South Africa and they find everything that has to do with Africa. In South Africa, the tourist places, the hotels, the stays, things like that. Yeah.
Now, I also want to talk about, you make mention of the fact that you were in the tourism industry and travel, right?
Yeah.
And a great kind of benefactor or a great economic driver for a lot of African economies is travel and as a way to attract investment.
Yeah.
Now, an interconnected Africa enables that environment. I know you're based in East Africa, but what is the value proposition of an interconnected Africa to advance some of the objectives you aim to achieve?
Okay, through the Tempo Africa, you mean? All right. First of all, I'm a big biased because we are going to have a franchise in all the countries. Yeah, for Tempo Africa, and the bigger percent of Tempo Africa is owned by a woman, by females. So what we have decided is all the franchises that are going to be there, they have to be owned by women. And that's where I'm biased of. So the vision is we need to capitalize in what we have as country or as continent. We understand we have different culture, yeah? So if we have different culture, we need different approach. Now, why do we want every country to franchise the Tempo Africa? It's because we want them to embrace what they have and every information and everything that is good for their country. Yeah.
Now, I want to zero in on another economic stronghold, which is small and medium enterprises for African economies. I know you do very important work in that space, particularly in relation to Accelerate Africa. Just also expand further on that.
All right. Accelerate Africa is an organization that is in Africa. And it just started as a forum that brings together the startups, the SMEs to discuss about issues, to find solutions. Because in the real sense, we believe lack of money or funding to start business is not only the problem. There's a lot, including mentality. So once SMEs and startups come together, they form a solution that is, intercontinental, and we understand we have different issues within different countries. So Accelerate Africa is merely to connect SMEs. As we know, SMEs, small businesses, the backbone for economy in so many countries. But what we have seen is they are being underestimated. Countries, the governments all look at the bigger organizations. But we have these small organizations that create jobs. They do a lot of development into the countries. So we want to leverage into that and to connect SMEs from different countries in Africa through, we now have the Africa Free Trade continent area. So that is the thing that we should do. We should start with small businesses. We should start with startups. So if we, small businesses, people, connect, I think Africa will connect eventually because we'll share experience, we'll learn from one another, because what Tanzanians know, the culture that we have is different from Kenya, different from South Africa. So once we come together as Africa, Tanzania will learn from Kenya. How do they do agriculture? I will learn from South Africa. How do you guys do tourism? How I will connect to, let's say, Zambia. How do you guys do, insurance and things like that?
Well, just before we bring the interview to a close, I want to talk about today's event. We are stationed here at the San Pedro Arena in Pretoria, gathering some of the most pioneering and leading women across the continent and the globe. Why do you think an event like this is so important, and how does it align with your own personal values in terms of how you head your organization?
Okay. Truth be told, the first time I came to this event, I came in a very, I was just pendo, trust me. And where I am today, there's a percent that this event brought. At first when I wanted to come, I emailed the Forbes women and I said, "Is this event for me? Can I come?" Because I'm the person who wants to learn. I would love to go to places that women are together talking about issues. I love seeing strong women. I love seeing women who leads. So I came here, and trust me, when I went back, the negotiation that I was doing after when I came to this event, it was different. It elevated me. It inspired me to a level that I had to tell other people there's an event you want to miss, but not Forbes. I think there are quite a lot of Tanzanians that are here because of how I told them and how the first time when I came to Forbes changed me. Even in business-wise, there's a way I would speak before and the way I speak now with all my businesses, because I'm into different sectors. I do insurance, I'm insurance consultants, I do tourism, we're into the organization for the community, especially women, and then I recently opened an online media. So you can imagine how that changed me, because I heard other women, I heard their challenges, and I'm like, I can do it. Like, go back, Pendo, go back and do it again, do it more. So if a man comes next to me and they want to negotiate, I'll negotiate like them, because being a woman doesn't make, like, you don't have to do something because I'm a woman. Do something because I can do that. Give me that opportunity, not because she's just a woman, just give the opportunity. No, just give me the opportunity because I can do it. Forget about I'm a woman, I can do it. And when did I get the courage? Through this event.
Gold Emotion essentially is a company that specializes in luxurious gifting made of gold, to put it bluntly, right? But of course, there's a lot of background to that. Our founder is called Jean-Jacques Rousseau. He's based in France, and he's a master gold leaf specialist. So the idea comes from him, and started his company in 2008 and developed many products, mainly champagne, cognacs, and other very unique gifting options that we have. And we plan to offer on the African market as well.
Now, expanding a little bit more about what you do, why do you think yourselves as Gold Emotion Africa tie in with some of the key themes we've explored here today in terms of expanding and elevating women representation?
Yeah, so women development is very central to us, especially at Gold Emotion Africa. For example, we work with from various countries and regions in Africa, artisans and artists and sculptures and whatnot, women specifically, to promote them, to allow them to be part of our journey, and also to learn new skills. So we have specific, I would say, budgets for those kinds of initiatives. So this kind of events, it's to us, it was a no-brainer to be part of it, because it's about women, it's about empowering women, it's about putting women on the platforms where they belong, where they need to be, and also to give them a chance to exchange and grow each other, basically. So yeah, so that's where we saw the pertinence, so to speak, of us being part of it. Yeah.
And why do you think it's so important within the African context? We know the significance that small, medium enterprises hold in the economy. Why do you think it's important for the deliberate effort to uplift and empower, particularly women-led SMEs?
Look, I mean, I think it's common knowledge that when you uplift women and when you empower women, you're empowering the nation. You're empowering basically the whole nation, right? So I believe it's very important for us to create platforms that, empower women so that, they can basically start uplifting themselves and also uplift the communities which they're part of. There's this we've lived for long where women were viewed as, stay at home and whatnot. But I think things have changed, and women, are very much at the forefront of things. And I think it's about time that, we give them platforms to showcase that. Yeah.
And just as a parting shot, in one word, how would you describe today's event?
Electrifying. I think feminine energy is everything. I think women draw power from each other and we elevate each other. And I think for me to see all the different women from different spheres of life together and willing to work together, to network, to grow, I think that's the whole point. I was reading actually about this year's International Women's Day motto, which is like basically to accelerate action and growth. And I'm like, I think that's where we are. We've been so much into rhetoric, and I think this is the time now to put it into action, to go into the do part of things. Yeah.
So more action and less talk.
Absolutely. I think we've spent so much time, creating policies, trying to do affirmative actions, to tell women you have to do this and that. But I think it's time now to give them the platform to show us.